This is Course 3, Pre-Algebra, Chapter 8, Lesson 1, Graphing Linear Equations, and I'm Mrs. McCowan. Today, we're talking about graphing linear equations, and we have a couple vocabulary words for you. The first vocabulary word is linear equation. A linear equation is an equation whose solutions fall on a line on the coordinate plane. The second vocabulary word is rate of change. Rate of change is a ratio that compares the amount of change in an dependent variable to the amount of change in an independent variable. Okay, let's start with number one. Number one, we have to graph and tell whether it's linear. So they've given us the equation y equals 3x minus 1. With this equation, I need to complete my table and then graph it and then determine whether it's linear or not. Okay, so let's take a look at this. When I input 1 into the equation, negative 1, I get 3, negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. So I put my output is negative 4. Next, my input here I have is 0. So I'm going to take that 0 and multiply it by 3. 0 times 3 is 0. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Next, my input is 1. So I'm going to do 3 times 1 minus 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So my output is 2. The last one I have is an input of 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. So my input is 2, my output is 5. Now I need to graph these on my chart, on my graph. So I'm going to start with negative 1. So I go 1 to the left, negative 4 down. Next, I have 0, negative 1. Then I have 1, positive 2. 2, positive 5. And now you can see my line. So I'm just going to draw my line. And make sure that you have arrows. Arrows make your line. If I didn't put my arrows, it would be a line segment. Now, looking at my line, I can tell that it is a line, it's linear, and it has a slope. So, yes, it is linear. Okay. Number 2. Graph and tell whether it's linear. Well, looking at my equation, I have x squared plus 1. And I know that when I square something, that means I multiply it by itself. So I'm going to do negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So my first answer is 2. My next input is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. My next input is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So my output is 2. And my next input is 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So my output is 5. Okay, now next to graph. So I go negative 1, positive 2, 0, positive 1, 1, positive 2, 2, positive 5. And if I would have continued it on the other side, it would have looked like this. Now, if I graph it, I'm going to graph it. It's going to look like this. This is a parabola. It's not a line. So we're going to say not linear. This is not a line. It's a parabola. Okay, number 3. Now we have to graph and tell whether it's linear. So we have y equals 2 times x plus 1. Looking at this, we have to do the same. So my input is negative 1. So I have to multiply negative 1 times 2. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Next, 0 times 2 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So I have my inputs and my outputs. Now I can graph it. Negative 1, negative 1. 0, positive 1. 1, positive 3. 2, positive 5. And if you look at this, you can tell that it is a line. So I'm going to draw my line, arrows. So yes, it is linear. Number 4. Okay, problem number 4, graph and tell whether it's linear. Well, just looking at it, my inputs, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and my equation is y equals 2. If I input this, I'm always going to get 2. If I were to graph this, this would be negative 1, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. Graphing this creates a straight line that goes across. And while this is a line, and it is a linear equation, we must remember that the change in y is 0. So it is a line and it is a linear equation, but it just doesn't have a slope. Okay, question number 5. Determine whether the rates of change are constant or variable. Okay, so I have the numbers 1, 0, 1, 3, 5, 8, and I need to determine whether this is constant or variable by finding the differences. Well, we know that these are the x's and the y's corresponding are 0, 2, 6, 10, and 16. Now I need to find the difference between these. So the difference between the x's is plus 1. 1 to 3 is plus 2. 3 to 5 is plus 2. 5 to 8 is plus 3. If I look at my y's, I have 0 to 2 is plus 2. 2 to 6 is plus 4. 6 to 10 is plus 4. 10 to 16 is plus 6. Now I need to find the ratio of change in y to x. So I'm going to put my ratio. That would be 2 over 1. Does it equal 4 over 2? Does it equal 4 over 2? Does it equal 6 over 3? Are these equal? Yes. They are equal, so it is a rate of change that is constant. Okay, number 6. This is number 6. 0, 1, 3, 5, 8 are not the correct numbers. I want you to change it to 1, 3, 4, 6, and 9. And my y's are 0, 2, 6, 6, 3. Now looking at this, I need to find the rate of change. So the rate of change from 1 to 3 is plus 2. Rate of change from 3 to 4 is plus 1. Rate of change from 4 to 6 is plus 2. Rate of change from 6 to 9 is plus 3. Let's do the same with the y's. Rate of change from 0 to 2 is plus 2. 2 to 6 plus 4. 6 to 6 plus 0. 6 to 3 plus 3. We're just finding the positive or negative difference. So this would actually be a negative 3 because we're going down. Okay, now let's write our ratios. 2 over 2 equals 4 over 1 equals 0 over 2 equals negative 3 over 3. Well, this data tells me that it is non-linear and that the rate of change is variable because these are not the same constants. Okay. If at the end of your Cornell notes, write 3 sentences about what you have learned in this lesson. If you need extra help, go back and watch this video again on YouTube, or ask Mrs. McCown a question, or come in the morning for extra tutoring. Thank you for watching.